So I woke up really excited, and mainly that was because I was so frustrated with how I felt yesterday's podcast went, and really just my thought process around what I was trying to talk about in terms of certainty and uncertainty and trying to disprove your own beliefs and all of that, and kind of like what is a good, I don't know, mechanism for thinking and behaving as you go throughout your life. What do I try to do? I just felt all over the place, but I had thought about it most of the night, thought about it in the morning, felt a little bit more crystallized, like I had an encapsulated idea, going to work, really pumped up, hoping to record earlier in the day. Never got to it, which ultimately turned out to be really good. That's just the way sometimes life, this little surprises of serendipity come along. And it's not surprising who this came from. But I was looking in the comments and it said certitude, the antithesis of faith. And man, that hit hard with me and really helped me kind of arrive at what I wanted to say. And so we're going to just spend a second here recapping yesterday's. And what I think the difference is, and what I think the danger of certainty is that when you are certain, you have no incentive to second guess yourself. You have no incentive to dig any deeper or look at what might be below the surface or even question your worldview based on any sort of evidence. Whereas I think certainty doesn't allow for doubt. And faith, on the other hand, where you still might believe something with like a really strong, firm, moving conviction, faith still leaves space for doubt. And in fact, I think faith absolutely positively needs doubt. And when faith is tested through doubt, it only becomes stronger. In some ways, I think faith wants doubt. And so I think this is really important because it allows you, when you allow doubt to creep in and you use it to kind of analyze, who you are, what you think. And it doesn't even have to be as deep as like, who am I as a person? This could be just some really simplistic worldview. This could be something that you're working on. This could be a really simple idea about, I don't know, what you want to do in your house or something like that. When you when you have faith and you allow yourself to challenge doubt. And I'm not saying like doubt creep in is make you insecure or doubt to creep in and make you change yourself. I'm saying you leave space for doubt to be challenged, to refine, hone, test, to make your faith better. And I think that's what I wanted to get at. And I do think that is really important. You're on the journey. You have a North Star. You want to keep pushing to that North Star. You have an idea of how you're going to get there. And you're going to be knocked off course all the time. And that's going to test you. And when it tests you, you're going to be able to ask yourself, do I want to keep moving toward that North Star? And I think that is important. The other thing I think is really challenging if you're always operating out of certainty is that doubt is just crushing to your worldview. There's no space for another point of view. There's not even space, and we're human. We are very fallible. There's not even space for you to kind of make yourself better if you have it all figured out through certainty, which I think that is a really risky place to be as a human person with our little limited brains. So that's what I wanted to get at, is that you're not using things like doubt or uncertainty to make yourself weaker. You're not using them to make yourself less than insecure. You are kind of using it to hone, the steel of your own conviction. That's a real dorky metaphor. But that's what I wanted to get at. That's really, really what I wanted to get at. And I think, I've talked about this earlier. I had this book I absolutely loved called Black Box Thinking. And there's a handful of examples in the book. But one of them is they talk about the company Dyson that makes the really wacky looking space vacuums. And how many times how many patents Dyson has had, how many duds they've had, how much failure they've undergone, how much, we've talked about this before, failing forward that they've done. I think there's so much value in that. And, one of the places I think I see this most prevalently is with my friends around me who are parents. And especially those parents who are open to learn, because talk about something that you have zero context for. It's pretty incredible to see the changes that parents undergo. And I was also thinking today, I was talking to the class, and I know it's not comparable. I'm not, though I'm damn close. I'm not one of those, psychotic dog parent people you see on Instagram. And it's like, dual income, no kids with dogs. That is what we are. But, I try not to refer to my dogs as my kids because I think that's a little odd, and they're not, though I do love them to death. But anyway, this morning, getting ready to go to the gym, and was only going to bring one of the dogs. The other one woke up and really wanted to go. Like circling around the truck, jumping in the truck, just really wanted to go, and it's fine. So we all went. Kind of made the day a little bit more chaotic. Slowed me down a little bit. Had to grab his collar and that kind of stuff. Not a huge detour, minor, but it was immediately in that moment. And I grew up with a lot of dogs, but I didn't really have to take care of them. The parents did. And also our dogs kind of just like lived in space, not outer space, but they just lived mostly outdoors. We had the luxury of that growing up. And anyway, 2 dogs making me late. That's the way it rolls. And I got to the gym and I was talking to the class and I was just saying, wow, all of you that are parents in here, I have no idea how the hell you get anywhere on time. So immediate empathy for that, and constant learning how much children must just challenge you and push you. And one of the things that I feel like you learn so much when you commit yourself to a relationship of care is patience. I was funny growing up. I always felt like I struggled with patience. There's just I could not consume the world fast enough, and being in a serious relationship with Cassandra, committing to that, wanting to make myself better for that, allowing her the space for that. Similarly, deciding to take care of dogs, be patient with them, let them learn. Coaching in classes, any sort of like really involved teaching where you're simultaneously helping someone else grow, but also yourself, you really have to learn a lot of patience. And I think that seems to me like that might be a cool or a key aspect of parenting is the patience. And there are so many other hidden benefits of patience, I think, that you gain. And again, I don't think patience means inaction. I think patience really means adjusting an expectation about how the external world should work and what clock they're on. And patience is about understanding what you can and cannot control. It doesn't mean being, not active or stagnant. I hope that doesn't come out of it. It's just really, it is a big understanding of what you can't control. So that's what I wanted to get right from yesterday. The concept of 100% right, 100% wrong. We've kind of floated around this topic a bunch. I think the best people I know out there have been doubters, have tested themselves through doubt, come out of it more refined, stronger. And that dichotomous thinking is, like I said, it's really challenging. It can be super, super dangerous. So that's where my head was at today with that kind of stuff. Little recap. Almost at 10 minutes already. Didn't want to spend that much time there. But, the workout. Did a workout today. Totally impatient for it. It was an 8-minute AMRAP, and I think everybody knows how I feel about short workouts. But, I loved coaching it, and I loved watching the morning classes just get after it. And they did well, too. It was a kettlebell swing, and I feel like no one in the world has ever done a workout with all good reps of kettlebell swings overhead. But they did a really nice job. It was kettlebell swing, shuttle run, so 8-minute AMRAP, 24 kettlebell swings going all the way up and overhead, and then 6 shuttle runs. So down 25 feet, back 25 feet is one shuttle run. So 50 total feet, so 300 feet a shuttle run every single round. And they sent it. And somebody in the earliest classes said, I think everybody should shoot for 5 rounds. And somebody said, you can't get 5 rounds of this. And it was that doubt was just what I needed when I started that thing. Not toot my own horn, because the fitness gas just ain't there like it used to be. But, man, if I didn't have that doubt, I wouldn't have pushed so hard to get 5 rounds. That's my thought. More tomorrow.